Alright guys, so here we are for another unboxing, and today we're going to be looking at the Hobby King Rattler, which is a 1/8 scale 4-wheel drive brushless buggy. Now, a couple of interesting things about this buggy: it's actually running 1/10 scale electrics, which means you can run it on either a 2S or a 3S LiPo battery. Now, how is it possible that you've got a 1/8 scale buggy running 1/10 scale electrics? Well, we'll get to that in a minute. Another interesting thing about this buggy is its price point. It's priced at under $200 Australian as an almost ready to run, which is what I got. You can, of course, get it as a ready to run, which means you get a radio with it. It does not come with batteries or charger with either version, so you will need to source those yourself. But for the price point that it is, I think this is a pretty good deal. Hopefully it performs as well as it looks and as good as it sort of looks on paper, at least. We'll soon see. I mean, you know, I'm going to be taking it out to the BMX track. I'm going to be putting it through its paces. I'm going to be doing speed runs with it, and I may even put it up against some of my other buggies that I have in my collection. So we'll see how it performs overall before I do the review. Now, of course, this is a pretty plain Jane box. You don't even have a picture of the buggy to look at the moment. You're just looking at a logo or heading. On the side here, you've got some information about the shocks, the brushless motor, and the just a basic picture of the chassis itself. On this side, there's a very vague picture of the buggy, which I know the light is reflecting off the box. So not much to look at. Let's get the lid off and have a better look at this guy. Of course, I will have links in the video description for you guys to check out from Hobby King, so you can check out the almost ready to run and the ready to run. Get a bit more technical information about the buggy as well, if you feel that I haven't covered enough, because I do try to cover as much as I can. All right, this is how the guy comes packaged up in the box. First thing in my hand here, obviously the little empty slot on the front is where the radio would be if I had the ready to run. But as I said, I got the almost ready to run. Now, spoiler comes in a little Ziploc bag, which is cool, which means I can reuse the bag like that. And this spoiler, looks really cool. I really like this spoiler. I'm going to show you up close because this is actually a little bit different. Oh wow, the camera actually focused. How about that? You see the pattern that it has? And even on the back, has this like really nice texture to it. I'm really liking this spoiler. This actually looks really, really cool. I know you're all probably looking at me going, he's admiring a piece of plastic. What's wrong with him? No, you see, this looks different. They've actually put some effort into this. It's not just a plain bit of Lexan or just a plain Jane black piece of plastic. It actually has a bit of texture, it has a bit of character, and I think it adds to the overall look of the RC. Minor things make a big difference for me. All right, taking the buggy out of the box. Underneath, we have the user manual. This guy, we can get rid of him, put the buggy down. There is nothing else in the box. There are no spare parts. There's no spare parts, there's no tools, nothing of the sort. You get the buggy, you get the spoiler, you get the manual. That is it. All right. That's the buggy there. Now, before I actually bring this guy up close to the camera, let's do something really exciting, which is to just quickly look over the manual, because it does look pretty well illustrated. I think they've actually put some work into this, so it's worth covering. All right, usual scenario here. I've had a bit of a cheeky look before. I know what I'm sort of expecting. You got blown up pictures, which is great for those of you who don't know how to read. And you can see how this guy goes together. You can order all your parts, you can do all your maintenance on the car, and of course at the back you have a parts list, and there's even a exploded view of the entire car, so you know exactly where everything goes at a quick glance. Very good to hang on to that guy, of course, to do any maintenance or order any parts for the car. Now, very quickly, I'm going to do this in warp speed. I'm going to take these body clips off. I'm going to put the spoiler on here so we can see the finished product as it should look when you hit the track or the backyard or the pavement or whatever it is that you're going to be running your RC. I'm trying to do this quickly as possible because I know looking at the back of my head is not very exciting, although it might be a better look than the front of my head. So here we go. There is the Rattler up close. Oh, that's a bit close actually. Let's bring this guy back a little bit. I'll do the usual spin around so you can have a look at it. There's our tires. I'll talk about them in a minute. The shocks, bring this guy up close. Plastic body shocks, but they do have threaded bodies. And you can see the little aluminium bottom caps here. The top caps are also aluminium. And even these threaded collars. Very nice look to them. 3 adjustment points for your shocks on the shock tower, 2 on the A-arms. Same story in the rear. Bringing this guy around, you can see the other side. I'll show you the top of it as well. It's a very nice paint scheme. I don't mind this. This actually looks pretty good. There is our spoiler. Now on the back here, Same story with the shocks, but you'll notice that these links are actually solid plastic, and at the front you actually have adjustable toe links. So you can see these guys just there. All right, now if you do need these to be adjustable, there's nothing stopping you from buying 2 extra of these guys, and putting them in the back, because the A-arms on this buggy are actually the same, both front and rear. So when you do get some spares, you'll be able to use them both in the front and rear of the car, which is very good. And you know, parts are interchangeable, which is great. Pillow ball suspension all the way around, which makes camber adjustment relatively easy to adjust. Just remove the wheel and you can adjust your camber, or you may even be able to adjust it right through the wheel, which is great with just an Allen key. Toe adjustment on the front, which we've covered, and that is pretty much all there is to say about this guy, except the chassis. Now have a look at the chassis. If the camera will do its job, you can see that it has the same pattern as the spoiler. So you see, there was a method to my madness of showing you the spoiler, because everything kind of ties in, and I think it's a very cool look. And I did have a quick feel of the chassis earlier, and I can tell you that it's very rigid. I don't think it's actual carbon fiber, but it looks like it, and I think they've done a pretty good job. Now, it does run dog bones front and rear, no CVDs on this guy, and all the hardware is Hex hardware, not Phillips. So big thumbs up there for Hobby King for giving us Allen keys, or sorry, Hex screws, Hex hardware. Wish they'd given us Allen keys, but no, there are no tools in the box. All right, put the body pins away. The body itself, pretty standard affair for a ready-to-run body. Hopefully this one doesn't split or shatter like I've sort of experienced with some of the other RCs from Hobby King in the past. But you know, being a buggy, it's kind of enclosed within the wheelbase, so it's not really susceptible for a lot of high speed impacts. It'll probably get scratched up, as most bodies tend to do, but yeah, hopefully it'll last me a while. Okay, let's bring the buggy up to the camera once again, and this time you'll see the chassis and how neat and clean and simple it is. Now, this is one of those buggies that I feel is aimed at the beginner market, and that's just the demographic that they're going for here. Keeping things very, very simple, neat and tidy, low maintenance. You know, you've got a dust-proof box here to hide your ESC, your steering servo, and your receiver, once, of course, I put it in there. So it's really designed for that type of market, and hopefully, if durability is up to the task, if I don't have too many issues with breaking A-arms or shock towers or anything of the sort, if this thing can, you know, work well within its means, this could be the perfect first RC to have, quite honestly. Adjusting pinion, the motor is actually mounted on a slider motor mount. Hopefully the camera will pick this up as I bring it up close, and there we go, there it is. So you'll see the motor mount there. It's actually on a sliding mechanism, which is very cool. Now, there is no slipper clutch in this, nor is there a center diff. So you're going to have direct drive to both front and rear wheels, which can be a good thing or a bad thing. Being in a buggy, I think it might be okay. Certainly make it very fun and perhaps even a little bit squirrely, but it should be all right. Now, battery tray. This guy is actually quite thick. I don't think you're going to be breaking the battery tray in the near future, so this is pretty cool. There is a little bit of an adjustment here with this little screw that they've got on the end. There's no adjustment on the rear though, and you'll see underneath that there are actually a couple of adjustment points, so you can actually shift the whole battery tray either forward one little bit or backwards. This will of course adjust your weight bias, so if you find that the buggy is nosediving too much, you can shift the battery backwards a bit, and vice versa. So pretty cool. Steel drive shaft going all the way through, aluminium plate going over the top here to brace the chassis, keep everything nice and stiff. And this is what I mean. I tried to twist this thing and this just does not move. They've done a really nice job. The steering servo is hidden away in the battery box, or this sort of dust-proof box. Come on, camera, focus in, thank you. All right, so there's your steering servo on just there, and your on and off switch is hidden away just back here. The motor, it is a 2700 kV brushless motor. I believe this is a 36 by 50, so it's actually quite a small motor, but there's nothing stopping you from going a little bit bigger because there is a bit of room at the front here, so you can go a bit bigger. All right, now I'm going to take a very quick 2-minute break here. I'm going to remove the dust-proof box that we see. I'm going to show you the inside of it and how it all sort of comes, because honestly, I still haven't looked inside. But I'm just loving the way that this is all sort of tidied up. they've really given this a bit of thought. The wiring and everything is just so neat, so clean. And I think beginner, anybody that's starting out in the hobby gets a car like this and everything's nice and clean and well laid out. This is perfect. So I'm very, very happy with this. Before we actually undo the box, just very quickly, I'm going to talk about the tyres before I forget. The tyres are actually very soft. The foams themselves are actually very soft. So this looks like it's going to be very grippy. The tread pattern, which is these little knobbies, certainly not ideal for tarmac. You may find that even gravel may not work all that well, but I will certainly test that out at the BMX track. But certainly dirt or grass, I think this is where this works best. These tyres will work best. So I think they look like 2.2-inch tyres, or wheels rather. But yeah, very soft, very pliable. Certainly look very good. Suspension-wise, a bit under-dampened and perhaps slightly oversprung. But it doesn't have a battery in there, so we'll see how this plays out. It might be a little bouncy when I drive it out the track. We'll see how we go. All right, time to open up this dust-proof box, and here we go. Okay, so dust box is open, and I can now bring this guy up to the camera once again so you can have a look inside and have a better look at how this is all organized. Now, I did have to take out the little top section, which kind of covers up the ESC. It has a little bit of a vent on it, so the ESC can still, have some air in there. This is only a 40 amp ESC. It's only tiny, but hopefully it will do the job just fine with the motor that it comes with. You can see the steering servo just here, which has a very short lead. See if I can bring this guy up. So it's only tiny. And of course, I have the lead there for the ESC. My receiver will go somewhere in the middle here. So that is pretty much how this guy comes packaged, and that's the whole idea, to sort of keep everything nice and neat and tidy. All your cabling and everything else is out of the way. And I think this is a great idea. This is actually the first RC that has incorporated servo, receiver, and ESC all into the one dust-proof box, which I think is fantastic. Now, I know some people are going to ask me if this is waterproof. My answer to you is that, as far as I'm aware, it is not waterproof. Because the box is only a dust-proof box. So it's only designed to sort of keep dust and debris away from these electrical components. And it does have a vent on the top of the ESC, which is this little guy right here. Here we go. Hopefully, let's see if the camera will do it. Hey, it did it. How about that? All right, so that's it there. So if you do go splashing through water and all that, water is going to get clogged up in there. Your receiver's in there, which generally is not waterproof. You're going to end up with all sorts of drama. So keep this one away from water. And that's it. I think I've covered pretty much everything there is to cover. Now, I'm just going to close this up very quickly. I'm actually impressed with this buggy. For the price that it is, for the size that it is, the fact that it's actually economical to run. By that I mean you don't have to buy a 4S or 5S or 6S battery packs, which can be obviously quite expensive. You can get away with just a 2S battery pack, and of course if you really want to amp it up, you can go to a 3S. Hopefully this has some decent speed. You can keep up with some of my other 1/8 scale buggies. We'll see how we go. I haven't ran it yet, so don't know how speed-wise it's going to perform. But if it's durable, if it's fun to drive, and at this price point, I think Hobby King might be onto a winner here, given that it could be a ideal first RC. Well, we'll see how we go. Stay tuned for more videos. Don't forget to subscribe so you guys can see some more running footage of this, and of course I'll follow this up with a review in due time. Check the video description, as I said, for more information on the buggy, as well as a link to my Facebook page, which of course will keep you a couple of steps ahead of what goes on here on YouTube. That's it from me, guys. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will speak to you next time.